Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Omega Insight. Tonight, I would like to discuss the poem Desiderata. This is a poem that I have known my entire life. It used to hang in the living room in the house I grew up in. A lot of the words are beyond me at that time, so when I read through it, I didn't understand what I was reading. But I love poems because they have a great deal of metaphor. There's a lot of insight, as well as, I think, instruction on how to live our lives. So the Desiderata is written by Max Ehrmann, Ehrmann. And here's what it says. Go placidly amidst the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, they are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly to the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth, nature's strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imagings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace within your soul. With all its sham and drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. Now, I love this. I mean, there's so much in there, especially now that can be attributed to today's society and today what we have in our society with the slamming of social media and so much noise about us. I think it's important, as many people know, I revel in silence. I love silence. I have no trouble being alone. I love the idea of being still, especially out in nature, and just listening and observing. So I think that's very important. It's very productive and helpful for our soul to recharge. I think that's the best thing to do when it comes to that. I love the line, speak your truth quietly and clearly. That makes me laugh because, how many people are out there now loud, expressing, we have a right to express ourselves. Yes, you do. But it's the quiet truths and the clear truths that are often heard when the dust settles, let's just say. And usually those are the truths that are have a connection and a core to our code of ethics, is where I'd come from. And then, of course, listen. So it's speak your truth quietly and clearly, so there's no misunderstanding. And then, of course, take the opportunity to listen to what others have to say. And then the line, compare yourself not to others, because there's always going to be people better or worse. We already know that. It's not to have judgment. Keep interested in your career. I like this one too. Loyalty has been a very shrinking quality that we find. back in the day when you'd go apply for a job, we'd look at the length of employment, and if there's somebody who is like 4 years and up, that's pretty good. But anybody who hasn't been in an organization for more than 4 years, that's kind of questionable. Today, 2 years is pretty much what we get. We end up with like a 2-year thing. I like the idea about not being cynical about love, but being honest and pure is what I would say on that one. I also like the idea, take kindly the counsel of the years and gracefully surrender the things of youth. That really addresses the idea of being mature, that eventually we're gonna not be as dependent as children and we become more responsible as an adult. And though we long for those youthful days of freedom to do whatever we want and someone else is going to take care of things, it's important and imperative that we ourselves become more responsible and let that youth fall to the wayside and embrace our wisdom and knowledge and take the driver's seat of the path that we are on. Also love don't distress yourself with dark imagings. I mean, it's so important. It's amazing. I mean, I think scientists, psychologists actually explain this. We have a natural affinity towards negativity. You can get 100 positive comments, but then one negative comment, and that's the one we focus on, which amazes me. That cancels out the 100 because we focus on that one. So this idea is not to put your whole face into, or not to put into your whole presence into the negativity, is that you want to embrace the positive, because negative begets negative, and we can go through a downward spiral when it comes to that. And of course, the last line I love, be cheerful and strive to be happy. Even though, sham, drudgery, and broken dreams is the planet, we're not the only ones who have sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. Lots of people experience this. The idea is we survive and we continue forward and we walk forward cheerfully, grateful that we've had the opportunities to go through the experiences that we have. And then, of course, striving to be happy. Again, I love this poem. I think its poems are very impactful if we take the moment to digest them. As a matter of fact, that's one thing that we used to do. George would have that as an assignment, is to take a poem, memorize it, and then meditate on it. What are some of the things that speak to you about that? I always like the written word. Think it's a nice way to pass on philosophies, and not to say that audio, teachings that are passed down by auditory, like by storytelling, that's very impactful as well. But I love the idea of the written word when I pick it up and I think, this gentleman wrote this. What was he thinking when he was writing this? What was the mind space that he was in? And just the contribution that he has made. So thank you again for joining me this evening. And as I mentioned on Friday, the trainings have been shifted, so the Omega 1 is in July and in September, and the Omega 2 is in October. I look forward to seeing you this Friday for our coffee talk, and as always, thank you for making a contribution and keeping the spirit of Omega alive. Bye now.